Welcome to our next chapter's Google Lit Trip for a long walk to water. We're going to start in a little bit of a different place this time because I would like you to see a certain image about the papyrus boats. And if you didn't actually watch the last video, because let's face it was 13 minutes and there was not extra credit to do with it, I did want you to see a little bit of what these boats looked like as you're reading about them so you have some ideas. So we're going to watch a little bit as we can actually see people riding these boats, the papyrus boats. They do kind of look more like boats when you take them out of the water, but as soon as you put weight on them, they go down in. But you can see that they're made out of reeds, papyrus reeds, and they work rather well on these rivers. So as we move forward, you can actually help imagine how they're crossing these rivers. But we're going to go back and we are going to move on from chapter 7 and we're going to move ahead to chapter 8 where we have our Nile River crossing. We have our pin right here and we're coming up to the White Nile River. We have a lot of waterways and ponds and things like that. So now that we have both characters around the water, we really want to consider this. I mean, after all, the book is called A Long Walk to Water. So here are our discussion questions to work on for chapter 8. For Naya, the cure for Akir's illness is simple and works quickly. So why is it so hard to prevent the illness and to get a simple cure? It's really hard for us to step out of our shoes because we have technology to make sure we have clean water and we have a lot of access to quick medicine and things like that. That's not necessarily the case for where they are. So what are the things to consider for this? Number 2, I'm going to read this question, but the wording's kind of funky. So if you're not sure what it means, just keep listening. What is the effect of the chapter that begins with Akir's having to live with the problems of contaminated water and ends with Salva being surrounded by lots of water that's responsible for people having lots of good food to eat? Basically, what this question is asking you to do is think of the effect that the chapter has on you as a reader and thinking about these two issues. You're starting off with Akir, who is sick because of contaminated water, but you end the chapter with Salva being surrounded by a lot of water, which doesn't seem to be the case for Akir. And this water that Salva's around is responsible for having people with good food and things like that. It's giving them a lot of good things. What is the effect of having this compare and contrast in two separate things, knowing that these are also quite a few years apart? Now, obviously, water is a big issue. We've talked about things that are in the news for things like South Africa. And again, the whole book is called A Long Walk to Water. So if you are interested in learning more about the issues that are coming up in this chapter, you can see here there's a few links. And I'll be posting those links in the description of the video if you'd like to follow them and take some time to read over those and the issues. And just a fun little thought is, are you a picky eater? And would you be a picky eater if you had to resort to eating mosquitoes? I'll put this link in the description too. But if you think about it, people do eat bugs in other cultures and sometimes even here. I've seen lollipops with like ants and stuff in them. I'd never do it, but it could be a fun challenge for somebody or a fun prank on a friend if you ever tried it. Either way, continue reading. Don't forget to get credit for this video. You need to answer these questions or put your thoughts down on the Google Doc.